All right, you guys, thank you very much for joining us this edition of Leak Project. I'm your host, Rex Bear, and we have Robert H. Evans Jr. with us again from Starships Around the Sun. He has a network of skywatchers around the world that are in search for Planet X and Nibiru, and he is sharing with us today approximately 22 or 23 photos that have been sent to him from people literally around the world. And some of these photos are quite compelling. Now, as you guys know, as a reporter, I do my best to stay neutral on the majority of the topics here, so I'm just going to let Bob bring his evidence to the table, and you guys can make what you want with it. If you want to think it's lens flares, if you want to think it's, which they very well could be, if you want to think that it's, as Chris Potter says, a flying cheese sandwich, if you want to think that they're, enormous amounts of swamp gas, I mean, it could be a number of things. So we're going to bring the information to the table, and you guys can call it entertainment, you guys can call it conspiracy, you guys can call it news, whatever you want. But I really appreciate you showing this with us here, Bob. How the heck are you?
Not bad. Doing pretty good. The weather's been just nasty out here in Pacifica for about a week, and now we've got some sunshine coming through. Okay. I know a lot of your listeners, including yourself, Rex, are a little bit leery about some of this stuff. But ever since the last show we've done, a lot of the webcams, the weather webcams, and the webcams that were in different areas, hotels, motels, whatever, have all supposedly been turned where they can't see the skies anymore. Several of my friends lost their computers for one reason or another. So a lot of the photographs I'm getting now, they're from individuals who are on Facebook. Now, I've tried to put the names underneath, right next to each one of the photographs. The photographs you have, not on the email I sent to you. I just put the dates there, going backwards from 2017 back to November 1st. So all those photographs, most of them are coming from the Middle East. A friend of mine named Whale, he has several friends over in the Middle East, and I cannot pronounce those names because they come right through in their script. And I know you see them on the photographs. They're being clearly seen in the Middle East still. I'm hearing rumors that the Israeli government, they're going to be acting on something really soon. I can't verify that. I just say I'm hearing rumors. So people around the planet are seeing this. People over in China, Japan, over in the Middle East, over in England, up in Scotland, Ireland, over there, and we're seeing it over here. Now, a lot of people are saying, Bob, I see the photographs you're posting, but we're not seeing anything in the skies. And a friend of mine said, and I can't verify this, a friend of mine told me that the government is using some type of lasers to make them disappear in the skies. Can't verify that, but that's one thing this person told me. They're using high technology, either human or someone else's, to make these things be very hard to see, if ever, in the skies. Here in Pacifica, California, we've had the skies filled several days in a row with chemtrails. Now, what is a chemtrail? A jet airplane flying at high altitudes, the hot exhaust coming out of the engines, they put contrails where you'll see them in the skies, but they dissipate rather quickly behind them. Chemtrails, you can look in the sky and that huge thing will go miles and miles and miles behind it. Plus, the chemtrail shifts left to right in the skies. A contrail will not do that. A contrail will just suddenly dissipate. When you see the chemtrails patterning out left and right, and they fill the sky where the sky's not clearly blue anymore, that's a chemtrail. Sorry for too much chatting there.
No, you're fine, Bob. Let me jump in real quick because you can't use the term chemtrail because you'll be labeled a conspiracy theorist, but the CIA director came out just a couple weeks ago. I saw a video, and he said, what you're seeing is called stratosphere aerial injections. So he did come out and admit to it, but it's like they use these terms now. So if you say chemtrail, people are automatically going to think conspiracy theorist or woo-woo unless they're in the know. And most people now do realize, because you can look up at the clouds and you can see the X patterns, the checkerboard patterns, they dissipate, they turn into weird clouds. It's definitely, I see it all the time. Now, I will tell you this, Bob, we did go out and pick up a very high-end telescope for the money. I mean, it's not like a $10,000 telescope, but it was about $1,500. We've got a really nice camera that attaches to that then goes and connects to the computer. So it's a Celestron Nexstar 8-inch telescope, and we're going to do our best to find any anomalies in the sky. Now, not only that, but then we could show you guys close-ups of the moon, different planets, and the sun with certain filters. So if there's any weird activity, a lot of times you'll see it on Soho and stuff like that. Maybe we can pick it up in our own backyard. But what are we looking at? This first picture that we're looking at, Bob, this one's from Leon, and this was taken on the 15th of this month, actually. So January 15th.
Okay, so we're in 2017. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Now, I need to throw something in there really quick. A huge laboratory here in the United States in 2006, 2007, they collected samples from Italy and from the state of Texas. And they ran these samples completely. And I still have this lab report. This lab report said the samples clearly showed man-made fibers that were in these samples. And these samples were being put in the skies all around the world. United States, Italy, Europe, and they called it Morgellons. This was a huge laboratory, not me looking into the sky. They fully checked these samples. Okay, that's enough of that. This was a picture from today. It was just a couple of hours old on Facebook. You can clearly see the sun, and you can clearly see two other objects in the sky. Are these other objects? Are they lens flare? You're the expert there, Rex.
I'm not an expert. I wouldn't go that far.
Well, you're more of an expert than I am. Let's put it that way. Okay, so this was just today, within the last couple of hours, where here's the sun right there in the center. You have what looks like another white object just to the left of it, and then just below that, a little bit diffused, so maybe that could have been a flare, showing two things next to our sun. And it's full color.
Now, if we go to, okay, and let's go to the next one here. This one was taken from Skywatch Media on the 11th of this month. It looks like it was taken from the inside of an airplane, and the only problem when you see the shots taken through windows, right, especially airplanes, is I heard that there are multiple panels. So
yes, I've heard the same thing. This person did take it looking out the window. Supposedly the person said that everyone was told to keep their blinds down for some reason. There's our sun right there in the center. And then there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 objects. They could possibly
say where. Sorry to interrupt, no. Bob. Did they say what country they were in, where they were flying to, what area they were over?
No, they didn't. Some people on Facebook, they're being very quiet where they're taking the photographs now.
The neat thing is, if we're going to find this infamous planet, if it's out there, if it's a brown dwarf star, if it's an entire solar system that's bringing with it, people are going to need the coordinates. So when images like this get sent to you, if you could take it even a step further and say, hey, this is a great image, now this is definitely a possibility, send us the coordinates, and then you can get it out to astronomers that are, amateurs and people just in their backyard that have telescopes. We can point them in that direction, and if there's something there, if you've got enough people collaborating on it, you should be able to pick something up. And then some people say a lot of times you can't find these things unless you've got infrared. Well, they do have options that you can hook up to telescopes that are infrared options too. So that's a pretty good image. Now, go ahead.
Here's one point I want to point here. I've heard this from several people, whether they know, whether they're just guessing or not. We have seen 8 objects in our skies since April 10th, 2015. Do these objects have their own satellites also? I do not know. Okay? Do they have moons, asteroids, whatever? Because the planet Nibiru, according to NASA's photograph in 2008, has 13 satellites. Now, do each of these other satellites, do they have their own orbiting satellites? I do not know. So I'm not quite sure exactly what we're seeing. And I'll be very honest with that. I've only been able to pick out. Go ahead.
No, okay. I'm sorry. I was going to jump onto the next. Totally hear what you're saying there. I was just going to jump onto this photo that was taken on the 7th, on 1/7/2017. Now, this one doesn't say who it was taken from on the screen here. I like this one because this one wasn't taken through a window, and you can tell that this isn't, at least to me, it doesn't look like lens flare, and you can see clearly the light source, what looks like the sun, but then underneath it, there's another light source, which makes me wonder, is that the sun that we're looking at, or is that something above the sun?
This one,
do you know what
and
state this is in, or what state?
The person did not mention it, no. I had posted some stuff on to Facebook.
Picture right here.
Yeah, I had posted some photographs in reply to someone else here on Facebook this one day on January 7th. And this one person popped up a couple of photographs saying that they were seeing this in their skies. Now, a lot of my friends on Facebook have been mentioning that their computers have been taken out by viruses or whatever over the months, and people have been refused back onto Facebook. And then they're coming back up under different names or changing their names instead of the way they originally had to, like end name first and then their first name. So a lot of people are being very quiet on Facebook now. I've even seen a couple of anonymous photographs, and I've been very careful about those photographs. You know, if it's going under anonymous, I usually don't send those to yourself or to a couple other people I've done on their shows. So, yes, it looks to me that the sun was down below, and here's this big yellowish-looking thing in the sky above it. That's my take on this photograph.
It's a good image, and once again, it could be the sun, so I don't know, and underneath it, it could just be some type of optical illusion or reflection, but I do think that that's a great image. And then I'd like to jump down to the next one that came out on the 7th. It looks like this is another one that was possibly from the Middle East, just because of the font.
Yes, it is.
And this did they give, is this like in India or Pakistan, or do you know where this is located?
Over in Egypt, as far as I've been told.
Okay, Egypt.
So, yes, it's over. This is a friend of mine named Whale. A Whale, I think his name. I'm not going to. His first name is Wael, and he's always been showing these photographs. And he's been doing this. One guy is a friend of his, and this person's been getting excellent photographs in the Middle East. I've gone to his webpage many times, but nothing is in English. And I don't play around with Google Translate anymore because people have told me that it's not translating it correctly. I like his page. He's not a friend of mine. He doesn't. So I go on his page every once in a while, and he's in some really excellent photographs.
Okay, and let's go down below that. It looks like you sent me a double on the one that was just above that, so we'll skip that one. And then there's one right below that that says CNN. I want to skip that one because I don't know, exactly if I can use that or not because it's got the CNN report on it. But let's go right below that where it looks like something out of a Skycam or something out of a webcam essentially. And it was taken on the 24th of last year, 12/24.
Right. Okay, 12/24. Is it 12/26 or 24?
No, this one's 12/24. This one's from 12/24, 2016.
Okay, 12/24.
It says Anil Pires. Perez, yeah.
Yes. That one's taken directly from an observatory. You can see the west part there, and over to the left is the east. So this is what this one observatory was seeing in their skies. Almost every observatory has this like a circular view where they look up, and they're looking straight at the night sky, and they'll have east, west, north, and south, as you're seeing right there. And here's this big quarter circle of something that's in the skies right there above them. I've seen this many times since 2015. Usually it's nice and clear in the skies. This one was kind of like a quarter moon or something, but it wasn't our moon because it's broad daylight.
Let's go to the next one now.
Sure.
Oh, okay. On 1219, this one I think is fascinating. Again, another one looks like from possibly the Middle East or Egypt, and it looks like a crescent moon to the left, and then the sun going down to the right on the horizon there. What's your take on this one? 1219, 2016.
Okay, 2016. This one was again from that same type of person. The sun is it looks like it's going down, and this huge quarter, like God's fingernail off to the left, it's just starting to show itself. And he or she had several other photographs, and it clearly was not our moon. This was something else large in our skies besides the moon.
It's a beautiful picture right there. I mean, if you look at that's almost the kind of picture that you could have as a desktop or as a poster. That's a very surreal image. I like that one a lot. Now, to me, it looks like a crescent moon, but it's huge. I mean, it's enormous, especially compared to the sun that's setting there. So if it could be some type of just beautiful optical illusion or not. I don't know. I'd like to, if we look at the next image below that, this one's from 1217, and I can actually debunk this one pretty quick, and I'll tell you why. Because at first, when this was going around the internet and making the YouTube circles on videos, there was video footage of this thing, and people are saying it looks like the Deathstar, it looks like Cosmic Q-Bird, it looks like Pac-Man, and it does. It does look like that. This telescope are you looking at the same image that I'm looking at?
Yes, that's the same image that showed up on February 18th in the skies. One of my friends caught it with a green filter, showing that exact same hole in the center. That's a correct image. Okay. Yeah, my friends have caught it with telescopes, whatever. Since then, it's gotten larger and larger and larger. So this was I have an original photograph of this thing from an observatory and from in the sky with a guy using a green filter. So this is real. This is a real object.
I'm not saying it's not a real object, but let me finish what I was saying if I can about it.
I'll
go ahead and oh, that's okay, no problem. I can debunk the hole in the center of it, though, just because yesterday, actually, when I had my telescope out, I was looking at one of the stars in the western sky, and because those stars are so bright, if you have video imagery on it as well, it has to be perfectly still, because if it's not perfectly still, even just the most minute vibration, because it's so far away, it will make it shake. Now, what that hole is in the center is actually the object itself, and what you're seeing around it is the light that it's emitting, whether it's from another star hitting that object or whether it's a star itself. And because it's so bright, when the camera picks it up, it literally blacks it out. It messes with the sensors. So what you're seeing, the object itself, is that hole. It's the center. It's a solid object, but the way that the lights and the camera picks it up, that's the type of image that you'll get. I was looking at the exact same thing the other day when people were saying, hey, look up in the western sky. People think it's Venus, but it's not Venus. I'm pretty sure it's Venus. Maybe it's a star, but whatever it was giving me that exact same image through the telescope. Okay. Are you following me?
Well, I can to a point. Like I said, this other friend, he caught it with a camera with a green filter, and it showed the exact same type of thing, but looking at it from a different angle. So I'm no expert on this. You're more of an expert than I am. You have a lot more people are smarter than both of us are telling you things. So, that's the only thing I can say, is that from 02, February 18th, I have the photographs, several in a row, using a welder's green filter this guy used, and it's the same looking object. So whether you can see more light, because it looked exactly the same thing but green. Now a lot of these shiny ones are showing up more and more out of Australia and New Zealand. That one person down there using his telescope, and I've seen some. And I admit that the black thing is kind of like, I've seen the videos where it's kind of going around, because the camera that's taking the photographs is being just moved tiny bits. So I understand what you're saying too, but the photographs I have taken with a green welder's filter show exactly the same thing, except they're green.
So
you don't see the bright.
Down to the Okay. So we'll jump down to the next one then. 12/1/2016. This is a green image. It looks like it was taken from Mark, and I can actually take images of multiple stars in the sky that will look just like that, right above it. The one, like we said, with the big hole in the center of the big Death Star. So it's not that one specific object. You could do that with a multitude of stars and planets out there, just based on the way that the filter and the lens and the telescope, everything that works together, and the way that it's picking up that light, it's going to pick something like that up. So it's just kind of out of focus and it's so far away. But this image right now, the next one that I want to look at with you, Bob, that I think is a good image is from Mark. And this was taken on the 1st of December last year, so a little over a month and a half ago. And this looks like there's a secondary object, just, I guess you could say, at the 12 o'clock position, right above the sun.
Exactly.
And this one was taken with like a welder's filter, you said, or some type of green film?
That one appears to be, yes. I'm not an expert on this stuff. So it does appear this person's using a greenish-looking filter of some type. And the sun's at the very bottom, and there's that secondary object right above it, yes.
Yeah. Now, did Mark say where that was taken either, or did he want to leave that anonymous as well?
Almost all the people I'm talking to, they're leaving it almost exactly quiet. They're not saying where they're taking it, what they're using, or anything. They don't want any of the dark side to go on them, supposedly. I can't blame them.
Sure. Now, there's another one that was taken on the 27th. It looks like 11/27. This one as well from Mr. Perez. So we'll jump onto this one real quick. And it looks like to the right of it a little bit, looks like, I guess you could say, at about the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock position. Is that the anomaly that he was pointing out?
Yes.
All right.
And that's 11/27/216D, I think.
E. 2 E. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, people are catching these things left and right, using their own cameras, using telescopes, because like I said, a lot of the webcams, which were really helpful, giving you all the date and time along the top of the image, a lot of people were seeing other people's computers being taken out, and they didn't want the same thing, so they're keeping it rather quiet.
Now, it looks like here's another one that was taken on 11/27/2016. It's B Gem Tops.
Yes.
From EarthCam. Now, do you think that's two suns right there?
Gem Tops has always been really, really honest with me, and the person said that was actually two suns in the skies. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Now, when I look at this image, what I'm seeing is that building to the left.
Yes.
It shows almost the exact same light as to the right. That's a glass building, and it looks like it's reflecting off of a window or something, like it's a reflection off of the building itself. Do you see that?
I see it, and I understand what you're saying, but Gem Tops was very clear with this EarthCam that, yes, it looks like a reflection, but it wasn't. I didn't take the photograph, so I can't honestly say one way or the other.
Let's go to this one from, I think this one was originally taken from Teresa Caldwell. I like her. She's a nice lady. This one was taken on 11/15/2016. And we had shown this once before, I think, in a previous video. This is one of the images that I think is pretty cool. It's pretty compelling. Was this taken in Mesa, Arizona? Is that right?
This one here, I think it was hers, yes, and it probably was taken in Mesa, Arizona, yes. This is one of my files. I didn't put the name underneath it.
Well, that's okay. This one I remembered because Teresa actually, this image from last year, she had it on her Facebook page, and this was one of the images that I looked at, and I thought that it was so good that there must have been some type of something added, to the light or something like that. And Teresa said no. So this is definitely a cool image, and you can certainly see all the chemtrail clouds and the just haze that's in the background. They certainly spray the crap out of that area. So that's a good image. Let's go to this one from 11/15/2016. This is 11/15/2016 and this one, it looks like there's anomaly in the background there. That's an interesting image.
You can see two anomalies. On that one there, you can see two anomalies. Yes, there's one huge thing right behind that tree in the foreground, and then up at the top near the 1 o'clock level, there's another one right there. So you have this huge thing with what looks like stripes being picked up right behind the tree. Then you have another anomaly right there above it at the 1 o'clock level. So you actually have two things being seen in the night sky. And that's 11/15/216E. Is that the one you were talking about?
Yes, that's the one. And then the next one, too, that I want to share with the audience, this one was taken 11/12/2016. is the picture that you have it titled Skywatch Media. This one appears to have two anomalies above, two orbs above the sun here, and those are lit up pretty well, and you can see the chemtrail clouds getting lit up as well. So the only thing I'm wondering about this one is it looks like it was taken inside of a window because you can see a whole bunch of
shadow type area
on the bottom. Yeah.
Right. And then those two upper things, they would be behind the sun, away from us, to be that light in the sky. And that's the same thing which people were in the Colburn said that since this thing was showing up behind our sun, that's where they started seeing all this stuff. Now, John Moore also says the same thing. John Moore, he's a retired military intelligence person. I'm not sure if he was on your show or not. He's had several videos out recently where he's been talking in his videos exactly like I've been warning about since 2017. So here's a person I've never met. Never met this guy. This guy has his own radio show. I've never been on his radio show. I've sent him photographs, never got any replies. And here he is, he's saying the exact same thing, that this is something that's coming from behind our sun. And we're just barely starting to see it in the skies right now. And those three objects you see right there, there's the sun at the bottom, and you can almost see like a light flare coming off the sun at around the 2 o'clock position, and it's whipping up. Can you see that in that photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And then these other two objects above it, for them to be that bright, they're behind the sun. At least that's what I've been told. And I understand the brightness part. Those two things are on the opposite side of our sun to be that bright, especially that late in the afternoon or morning. A lot of these people, they never say when it was taken in the morning or not, and I don't have all the data at the top of the photograph to know it was taken nighttime or morning. But yes, that's a fantastic photograph right there. And that's why I sent it to you today.
Right. Yeah, this is definitely a good one, Bob. Let's jump to the next one, too, by Taunton Jean. This was taken November of last year, November 12th, it looks like. It's 11/12/2016A.
And that is the Antarctica station of, God, my mind's going nuts now. It's something station number 3. That station, I have photographs going back to 2011. 2011, and something was caught in that same location by that same exact camera. Now this camera shows one object and a second object right above it. Now this is interesting. It has all the data right there at the top of the image. 2000. Let's see. It's 2016, November 12th, and it's taken at 0358 in the morning. It's the Newmeyer Station number 3, Antarctica. So you clearly see two objects right there above the station. Now this is the same station that showed the first of these 8 objects on April 10th, 2015. Very clear in the skies right above it. And then my friend Sharon caught it in her skies over Illinois in color on April 29th, 2015. The first of these 8 that were being caught in our skies. So this station is being run by the Jesuits. The Jesuits have been paying for all of the Earth's observatories to track this stuff. It's being kept very quiet.
You know, I'm looking at that image, and it almost kind of looks like a lens flare to me, because if you look at the pinkish, anytime you see a lens flare, it's really easy to pick out the ones that have the reddish wings. And for somebody that's never seen that before, that starts researching Planet X, and they take a picture of the sun and they see that anomaly, they think, because it looks like the Red Kachina, it looks like the winged destroyer. I mean, if you think that in your mind, but then you can do a video of it and you can move it back and forth, and that lens flare will move back and forth with the camera. So it's very easy to debunk with video. So when you look at that, the way that it's parallel with the actual sun itself, to me, that looks like a lens flare. But, you know, that is a cool image nonetheless. And I have seen some very interesting images from Antarctica. If there's anywhere that you can find this brown dwarf, I bet you Antarctica is one of the places to be. That's just a very mystical place. Let's go to the one that is 11/1/2016b. This one, you can see the reflection off of the water, and then to the right of it.
Okay, 11/11/2016.
No, 11/1. 11/1. We're skipping the 11/11. We're going to 11/1/2016b. This one was taken from the Middle East as well.
Okay, let me find that one. Okay. 11/01/2016b. That one's taken from the Middle East also. Now you can see what I believe is the sun. It shows the light going left and right from about 11 o'clock down to about 5. And then there's the nice orange thing in the sky right there, which also showing its image on the water right down below. Yes.
All right, you guys, thank you very much for joining us this edition of Leak Project. I'm your host, Rex Bear, and we have Robert H. Evans Jr. with us again from Starships Around the Sun. He has a network of skywatchers around the world that are in search for Planet X and Nibiru, and he is sharing with us today approximately 22 or 23 photos that have been sent to him from people literally around the world. And some of these photos are quite compelling. Now, as you guys know, as a reporter, I do my best to stay neutral on the majority of the topics here, so I'm just going to let Bob bring his evidence to the table, and you guys can make what you want with it. If you want to think it's lens flares, if you want to think it's, which they very well could be, if you want to think that it's, as Chris Potter says, a flying cheese sandwich, if you want to think that they're, enormous amounts of swamp gas, I mean, it could be a number of things. So we're going to bring the information to the table, and you guys can call it entertainment, you guys can call it conspiracy, you guys can call it news, whatever you want. But I really appreciate you showing this with us here, Bob. How the heck are you?
Not bad. Doing pretty good. The weather's been just nasty out here in Pacifica for about a week, and now we've got some sunshine coming through. Okay. I know a lot of your listeners, including yourself, Rex, are a little bit leery about some of this stuff. But ever since the last show we've done, a lot of the webcams, the weather webcams, and the webcams that were in different areas, hotels, motels, whatever, have all supposedly been turned where they can't see the skies anymore. Several of my friends lost their computers for one reason or another. So a lot of the photographs I'm getting now, they're from individuals who are on Facebook. Now, I've tried to put the names underneath, right next to each one of the photographs. The photographs you have, not on the email I sent to you. I just put the dates there going backwards from 2017 back to November 1st. So all those photographs, most of them are coming from the Middle East. A friend of mine named Whale, he has several friends over in the Middle East, and I cannot pronounce those names because they come right through in their script. And I know you've seen them on the photographs. They're being clearly seen in the Middle East still. I'm hearing rumors that the Israeli government, they're going to be acting on something really soon. I can't verify that. I just say I'm hearing rumors. So people around the planet are seeing this. People over in China, Japan, over in the Middle East, over in England, up in Scotland, Ireland, over there, and we're seeing it over here. Now, a lot of people are saying, Bob, I see the photographs you're posting, but we're not seeing anything in the skies. And a friend of mine said, and I can't verify this, a friend of mine told me that the government is using some type of lasers to make them disappear in the skies. Can't verify that, but that's one thing this person told me. They're using high technology, either human or someone else's, to make these things be very hard to see, if ever, in the skies. Here in Pacifica, California, we've had the skies filled several days in a row with chemtrails. Now, what is a chemtrail? A jet airplane flying at high altitudes, the hot exhaust coming out of the engines, they put contrails where you'll see them in the skies, but they dissipate rather quickly behind them. Chemtrails, you can look in the sky and that huge thing will go miles and miles and miles behind it. Plus, the chemtrail shifts left to right in the skies. A contrail will not do that. A contrail will just suddenly dissipate. When you see the chemtrails patterning out left and right, and they fill up the sky where the sky is not clearly blue anymore, that's a chemtrail. Sorry for too much chatting there.
No, you're fine, Bob. Let me jump in real quick because you can't use the term chemtrail because you'll be labeled a conspiracy